Hi guys, I get a lot of questions lately for contractors and business insurance. Some clients come into us brand new in business, some have been here for a few years and may not understand some important differences in your commercial coverage that we need to make sure you have properly set up. So here in Washington State, there's only two things that are required as a contractor. That's going to be having your bond and having commercial general liability. A bond is a very simple, easy to issue policy that is going to be renewed every single year. This is going to be for mainly contractors, electricians, and plumbers. They are going to get this issued within one day, and that satisfies the state bond requirement. The second part, the larger portion there, is general liability. Everyone has to have it. You can think of it just like auto coverage. If you are out there, the state's looking to cover the state's interest, which is protecting other people and other businesses. So they want anybody operating with a license to have liability coverage. This is usually $1 million policy, and it's going to be designed directly for you and your business. These will be based on your customers, your sales, the size of your business, and whether or not you work with other clients and subcontractors as well. Liability coverage is usually fairly easy to get, can take a little bit longer than the bond to review and get approved, but these are the two things that the state needs. They are going to protect other people. So your clients, other businesses, anyone that you are going to interact with. It is external insurance, just like auto liability, only it goes out to the third party. The parts that are going to protect you are our next two categories. So now that you know what the state is going to require to be legal and get a license, the things that are going to protect you, and any of my clients know my interest is making sure your business is also staying out of trouble if there's a claim, is going to be how we protect your business property. So that means anything you own, and then how we're protecting our auto liability, whether or not it's a car that we drive for work, owned by the business, or any other vehicle that's going to be on the road with a name on the side of it as well. So when we're looking at property coverage, the important piece is what do you own and what do you need to get back in the time of a loss? And a loss looks very different. So it could be everything is stored in a garage somewhere and we had a theft or a fire. Very commonly, it's going to be vehicle theft where they take everything out of the car, and that's going to be all your tools and belongings and all the small stuff. So the same thing I would tell homeowners, I tell business owners, is take an idea. What do I have? What do I own? The little stuff, if you're in plumbing, we might have a lot of fasteners and screws, and it might seem small, but if you went to Home Depot to get a new entire truck worth of stuff, that might be a few $1,000s. And then your big equipment, we want to have there scheduled as well. So if we've got any kind of larger tools, and large in the insurance world is really usually anything over $2,000 or $2,500, that's when they're going to want to know exactly what the piece is as far as a tool. Now, if it's part of a building or a big machinery, then it's just going to be lumped into our business property, and your insurance agent is going to explain where everything should go. What we need to know is just exactly what we have. So what do we have in the small stuff? What do we have in the big stuff? And how do we help you get that back? If you don't have these on a policy somewhere, basically what happens is there's no coverage. So people often think they have general liability, so if something happened, they would just submit a claim to their liability policy, but that liability, again, that's the other people. That does not get your stuff back. So we do need to make sure that we have a full list on your property policy, the one that is called either business property or inland marine, and it's going to show exactly what you have as a business as far as general equipment, and then anything specific, any of those big tools, we will list out there on what they call a schedule. So when we talk about the business vehicles and personal vehicles, the most common confusion and what happens in a lot of them is going to be a small home-based business, because often those people are working out of their home. They might have a car and they might have a truck. So I've got a client that has a Honda commuter and then they've got a big Dodge Ram, and that big Dodge Ram has their name on the side of their business and has all of their tools inside of it. So if you got a car that is in that scenario, even though it might be your vehicle, but it's clearly used for business, work vans are even more common, where they're going to house all of your tools and equipment and basically be your mobile workshop. It's going to be very obvious in an accident that that's a work vehicle. So many times people have it insured on a personal policy and they think they're okay. And unfortunately, in an accident, you could either not get your car covered or the liability covered, which is every part that goes to those third parties. So all of that injury or claims to another car, it could be denied if they sue both you and your company. And if our name is on the side of the car, it's going to be pretty likely that that company's name will be brought up in an insurance claim. So these are things that we want to make sure we look at ahead of time. Often that means a person's going to have two policies. You're going to have a personal policy for that Honda, and then you're going to have a business policy that's going to cover that truck or van or vehicle. That's going to not only cover you as a driver, but it's going to cover the business so the business doesn't get sued. It's also going to allow for employees to drive. So your personal policy is never going to allow for employees of a business to drive and be covered. So commercial coverage and understanding how those work and what might be denied is really important. So these are important facts to understand. And if you're going to be running a business and have cars that either the business owns or we're using for the business, talk to your agent about what the proper coverage should be.